Grand Rising, great people. I'm Akili Worthy, and today I'm here to share not just a business journey, but a life journey, if you will. Let's dive into the steps that define this adventure in the Ankh Kouture Chronicles. First, let's talk about the name. I am fascinated with Kemet. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's Egypt. But the original inhabitants, the ancient Africans, called it Kemet. So that's what I'm calling it. In 2023, I became overwhelmingly excited about all of the things I was learning about ancient Kemet. I've always been a student of Black history, but this year I took it to another level. When I started learning about Kemet, Kush, Sudan, and basically the Nile Valley civilization, something in me clicked. It was like I had suddenly woken up to a level of consciousness that I had never experienced. Now, I've visited South Africa and Zimbabwe. I've even met Nelson Mandela. However, I never felt more connected to Africa than I do today. Now, this connection makes me want to learn something new every day about the continent. It also makes me want to be great. Do you know how much of an impact we've had on civilization? It's safe to say there would be no civilization without us. Now, I love purses. I love words, purpose, beauty, a lot of different concepts. My desire to be great fuels my want to create a business, but also to patronize other Black businesses. As a community, we have a lot of work to do to create true freedom in America, but it's completely within our control. So coming up with an idea and a name were first on my list. Ankh Kouture embodies my love of ancient Africa with my love of beautiful things. It also fills a gap that I believe is huge when it comes to bags. Now, I'm online, in all kinds of different spaces and marketplaces, looking for images and pieces that remind me of me. And while I find some that are beautiful, many of the words, the statements, the pictures that I see are recycled, basic, and sometimes stereotypical. Personally, I love to study metaphysics, astrology, and divinity. All of these concepts were birthed by the original people. It came out of that African mind. So to me, it's beyond the melanin, even though that's a very powerful aspect of my being as well. What bags speak to someone like me, though? The urban mystic chick, that's what I call myself. Not many. So I thought I would take the time to create some. So, step one in the process, which I consider to be laying the foundation, was choosing the right business structure. For me, it was about forming an LLC. I know sole proprietorships are out there and people may start that way. In the state of Arizona, it's not that difficult to create an LLC. It actually takes literally one day. It's done instantaneously. If you go to the Secretary of State's office website, you pay the fee. They automatically tack on an expediting fee if you're creating your limited liability corporation online. And then you get an email that it's created right then. Now, mind you, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. I'm not somebody that's telling you what you need to do, but I am letting you know what my experience has been in creating this business. So the LLC piece was really a decision guided by a need for liability protection and professional credibility. So I've always known that LLCs are something that kind of elevates your business. So no reason for me not to start one. The next step in the process was obtaining my EIN. Now, I do want to make sure that people know that this is a free, also very quick process. If you go to the IRS website, make sure it ends in .gov, right? You want to go ahead and request an EIN, and you can do that for free. They'll ask you a few questions, and next thing you know, a couple minutes later, they will spit one out for you. You do want to make sure you check the option if you want to see it immediately, to be able to, get it right then, to be able to see it so you can start using it right away. It's your business tax identity. It's a foundational block for any entrepreneurial venture. So I do believe that it's something that you want to have. From there, I created a couple of other things with my EIN. So it was a natural next step. Now, the third thing I did was move into the concept of financial separation and credit building. So I set up a business bank account. You do want to keep your personal and business finances distinct. I know it's very difficult in the beginning to do that because you're using a lot of your personal finances to purchase business things. You may just not have that component set up yet until you get the EIN and the business name and all of that stuff together, right? But the government does like to see separation between those two things. So you want to do that as soon as possible. There are a number of online accounts out there that you can set up pretty quickly. I've used Novo in the past, but this time I decided to use Lily because I am a one-woman show over here. If I can track my expenses for taxes as well as my business expenses, that sounds like a super good idea to me. And I know there are a lot of online banks now or online financial institutions that are putting those two things together. So you can definitely do your research. But I did choose Lily, and that's Lili this time around. Didn't take any time for me to get the account set up. I want to say it was done literally in like 10 minutes, right after I had the EIN and my name established. One of the things that I also did was go through the process of creating my DUNS number and start the process of establishing some business credit. We'll talk about that a little bit more in one of my next videos for sure, but I wanted to also get that process going ASAP. So we'll talk about, the money that I have that moves into the business account and what types of things I use it for in order to establish that business credit. Now, here's the thing. I really had to get into, a space of embracing technology. Again, I am a one-woman show over here. And a lot of times when we start off as entrepreneurs, especially when we're starting in a smaller space, we start as one person. I will get, a virtual assistant at some point, but right now I am using AI as much as possible, combining the efficiency of AI with business strategy. So ChatGPT has been so helpful in the process. I've used it for everything with this business when it comes to something simple like brainstorming to something a bit more complex like refining business strategies. I'm literally using it as like a business coach. And I know that ChatGPT doesn't know everything, and I know it makes mistakes, but so do humans. So I love the fact that it doesn't duplicate me by no means. But man, does it make my life a whole heck of a lot easier when I'm trying to ask it questions about, what it thinks would happen if I pulled this lever, or what it thinks would happen if I did this. What might the outcomes be if I tried this instead of that? I mean, it is excellent for doing that. So I am in the process of really testing its effectiveness, if you will, in, real world strategies, real world scenarios. What could be better than that? Now, from there, utilizing ChatGPT, having all this dialogue, I made the decision to go ahead and pick a storefront and to purchase a domain name. Now, for me, I don't want to be in a brick and mortar location. At this particular time, Ankh Kouture that's not my vision. This is more of a lifestyle brand for me, meaning that I want to create a specific type of lifestyle by having this type of business. So I chose to use Shopify. Now, some people are saying, hey, you need to get on Amazon, you need to go to the pop-up shops, you need to go talk to all the black bookstores and do this, that, and the other. And those are things that I will do. But personally, I don't want to carry any inventory. I don't want to walk around with any bags delivering them to people. I don't want to wrap anything up. I prefer the concept of drop shipping because I want to build a business that supports flexibility and flow. Okay. Now, Shopify has a couple of different levels, but I went with the starter level because it's actually recommended for those who have less than $1,000 in sales. And because we are just starting this business, basically, this month, I don't have any sales yet because I've been in the process of, just coming up with all the ideas, testing the bags, seeing how I feel about them, making errors, and not, putting those particular things up for sale. But there will be our first bag for sale in January of 2024. Now, I purchased the domain name from GoDaddy, and I went through a couple of variations, but obviously, if you can get your business name with a .com, that is ideal. So yes, we've got ankhkouture.com. All right. Now, I am the mother of two. I'm a wife. I am a full-time employee, and I also have volunteer work that I do. So maintaining some type of level of equilibrium, leveraging AI for efficiency, and, trying to make decisions and, do all of these different things is always going to be a challenge. So I will walk you through some of that process as well. I learned really quickly the secret of balance, and that is that there isn't any, but we'll talk more about that as well in another video. Now, in terms of the growth that I'd like to see happen with Ankh Kouture, it's interesting. My vision is more about what I want to be able to do with it, as opposed to what the brand will look like. So I've also created a nonprofit organization called KemetiCorp. Our mission is to educate, uplift, and, focus on the betterment of my community. The bags and other items that I create are pieces of that grander vision. I want us to use the knowledge of our history. I want us to understand who we were, who we are, and who we again shall be. So I'm using my knowledge of history coupled with metaphysics to help us remove some of those emotional blocks and baggage, while also, helping us align with corrective history, that history that allows us to awaken to the concepts that, there's something so much larger than the stories and the nonsense that we've been told. So I'm glad to see that there is actually awakening going on right now within the community. You see a lot more of that, coming up. So, it's excited to see what we will create. Now, this journey, as I'm going to call myself a bootstrapper for the moment, because like I keep saying, I'm a one-woman show over here. I am utilizing as many free resources as I can. And when I don't have access to free resources, I will utilize my money. I'm not going to be somebody that tells you you can do everything without money, because sometimes you will need money, right? It's all about assessing also the accuracy and the utility of the advice that I get from ChatGPT. Because entrepreneurship is such a complex, multi-layered process. So I am just walking this walk. I'm sharing it with you. And that is also part of the exploration. So it's, kind of a 7-step journey that I've given you. But again, it's more than a business roadmap. It's an adventure, and one that I'm really excited about. Blending human creativity with the AI capabilities, and seeing where we land. So if you're intrigued by this intersection of technology and entrepreneurship, join me. Let's see what we put together in this ongoing experiment. Next week, we'll talk about the balancing act a little bit more between entrepreneurship, family, and full-time work, right? And what the secrets actually are. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Now you know that the channel is new, so don't expect to see a ton of stuff there as of yet, but hang in there with me. I will make it worth your while for sure.